And now it's time for the latest exciting episode of Doz's Television Workshop.
Hello and welcome back to Doz's Television Workshop, where today we're going to be having a look at this Audio Alchemy digital decoding engine version 1.0. It's a digital to analog decoder, and on the rear we've got some analog outputs. We've got various different inputs. Very unusual to see I2S on there. Useful, but unusual. Digital output, digital input 1, digital input 2, DC input. Except for, I don't think they're supposed to do that, so I'm not just going to fire this up. This belongs to Justin again, and his complaint was it doesn't work on one of the inputs, and he can't remember whether it's the coaxial input or the optical input. So yeah, let's just take it apart and have a little look at what's going on. Oh my god. Oh, well, there's the thing that's rattling around. That's a heatsink by the look of it from that poor regulator that's got so hot there it's scorched the board. Look, nice. And we've got some snake oil. Yes, they've been in there with their huge capacitors of dubious origin, and of course the ubiquitous glue to stick it all down with. We've got a capacitor that's making its way out there. That one looks alright, but it's on a bit of a jaunty angle. Has the bottom blown out of that? I think we ought to just take that out and check. Snake oil, people. Go and find something else to do. Go back to plumbing by the look of the soldering on here. That would be ideal. So, when was this thing made? Let's just have a look at the date of some of the components. Looking early 90s by the look of it. 91... 91, yeah, it's looking 1991-ish, isn't it? Is that an old Sprague Powerlytic in there? Oh, it is, look, 85 degrees, oh, definitely, you know, for the nth dimension of sound quality. Right, okay, so we got no input. I think we need to sack that bulging capacitor off before we go any further. I'm going to put the old desoldering station on. And we're going to go with that. Get the state of the soldering there as well. I mean, let's just improve matters, shall we? And that's the regulator. You can see where it's scorched around the board. Let's just give that a bit of a birthday, shall we? Capacitor that's failed is that one. Oh, it stinks as well. Desoldering gun is nearly to temperature. Stripy side towards the panel. What's he supposed to be? 1000 mic at 16 volt. Well, he's definitely en route. You can see him wobbling about. Look, no longer sits flat on his lid. Right, let's get a bit of desoldering braid in there and just clean that through hole out. Yeah, he looks clean. Let's see if we've got... I'm not so sure about that one either. Let's measure him in a minute. But that other one is definitely shot. So we want 1000 at 16 volts. Nichicon, 1000 mic, 25 volts. Nichicon, you see, even that'll pacify the audio files out there. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to test that before we go any further. See what it's looking like. C46 there. Just not quite sure if that hasn't got a bulge top on it. Thousand mic. 0.13 ohms. I think I'm happy with that for the time being at least. Right, let's put the heatsink back on this poor regulator, shall we, and give it half a chance not to cook itself to death. It's not a great fit actually. Let's just tweak it back into shape. Tweaked it too far. That's much improved. That's not going to fall off now, is it? I mean, look at this stuff here. It's all, they've glued stuff in. What happens if my fault's down there, which it's quite likely to be? Stuffed, aren't I? Probably damaged by the glue, I don't know. All for the sake of improving things, allegedly. Right, we are going to need a source of SPDIF audio. I could probably generate I2S actually, but SPDIF I can't. So I have over here my whim. Yeah, I bought one of these on a whim recently. Sorry, but it's a little streaming hi-fi thing, and yeah, it's very good actually. So quite how I'm going to manage to get licensed free audio into it, I'm not really quite sure. Oh, I can go in through an analog input from Old Faithful, and then we can see. So it'll be analog in, digital out, digital in, analog out. Why not? Right, Yeah, let's get it set up and see what it does or doesn't do. Okay, so I've got the outputs to the little test amplifier. I have got the WIM set for line in. I don't know whether camera 5's getting that or not. And coaxial output. The coaxial output from the WIM is feeding here. Old Faithful is playing possibly some license-free music. Let's hope it is. Otherwise, if this works, we're in a world of pain. Let's give the Audio Alchemy some power. Well, we've got some indicators. I'm set to digital input 1, and it is in fact doing nothing. By crumbs, this regulator done half run warm. Yeah, no wonder things have suffered a bit in there. Oh yeah, that is getting warm. Not excessive, but warmer than I'd like. Right, so clearly our coax input is not working. So let me just switch the amp off for a second. We'll have that out of there. Let's just inspect. So it could be this input switch, couldn't it? So let's just check for continuity across there. Switch is that way. It'll be these two pins, always diagonal. Yep. So the switch is working. What have we got? Going on around our digital input side of things. Oh, you might need a little zoomy in here. I mean, you see that we've got some very discoloured joints. Sort of thing we get when we get a leaking capacitor. Have we got something on its way out over here? Covered by all this blasted glue from our snake oil salesman. Well, sure enough, we have got that capacitor's leaking for a start. I think that one is too. Oh well, that's possibly the cause of our problem then. Yeah, I can just see some tarnishing in there. Well, you can make that out. I'll have a little zoom in post if I can. But that one has got a discoloured joint the other side. So I think we ought to remove those. Have a little look and see what is occurring. Right. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to solder those joints up and then just tug the capacitor out. And there's the smell. Yes, the joys of fishy. Oh look, there's top quality workmanship here from the snake oil salesman. Has now snapped off. Good, it's given me a bit of leeway. I've just got to work out where of course it went. I don't expect it'll work fine without it. Nobody will ever know the difference. Wow, that stinks. Okay, so we've got a... Oh, it's marked on the board positive towards that side. But yep. I don't know if the camera's going to focus on that. But that is rotten. And stinking and vile. And I don't want it anymore. Wonder what the other one's like that I can actually see is leaking. How many others are lingering in here, dying a slow death? Right, what's that one? That is C1, unbelievably. And it's 33 mic at 16 volts. C4 also looks rank. I need to put some solder on that. That joint there is extremely tarnished. Oh, and there goes the smell again. Yeah, that joint doesn't even want to take solder, look. And I can hear it boiling from the other side. Oh, it stinks. Yeah, that's a nasty mess. Again, 33 mic at 16 volts. Right, let's try and clear these holes out. Bit of desoldering braid, and we'll find 2 capacitors that'll go in there. Work out what we're going to do with the snake oil salesman's rubbish. I may suggest we just remove it. I am seriously concerned about the health of this board, especially with this capacitor. Oh, it stinks. Oh. Right, I think we've got those holes clear at least. Just hope the board hasn't started conducting underneath. Wonder where that went. Oh, there was a capacitor there once. I see, said the blind man. He's added a bit of rubbish decoupling to the incoming supply, and even polished the number off the capacitor so we can't see what it once was. What a top gentleman he was. It's obviously some magic part. I am going to need a Q-tip and some IPA or similar just to get that off there. We're running out of Q-tips here. Splash of IPA. Board doesn't look too bad, at least for C2. C4, I'm not so sure. This little block here is marked input selection and signal conditioning. So yeah, if that ain't working right, what's the chances of getting our signal conditioned or selected? You can see this pad on this board on this side doesn't look anywhere near as good as that one. I am a little concerned. Still, we can but try. Right, what do we want? 33 microfarads. Was it 16 volts? 33. Look at that. 33 is at 25. Close enough for government work. Look at the length of insulation exposed on there. Oh, Jesus Christ. Have some pride, people. I know I said stick to plumbing. I mean, that's just unfair on plumbers. Just disgusting. Workmanship is appalling. Right. I am just going to put a drop of flux, certainly on that one. Not so much concerned about that one. I might as well do the lot. My flux needle has just come apart. Oh, that's suboptimal. There we go. Does tend to become rather sticky. You can never have too much flux. Just to give us the best chance, certainly with this capacitor here. Still stinks. I bet some of that capacitor juice has leached into the board, and that is a concern, because if it is conductive, we might not be able to effect a repair. Go back and have a look at the Sennheiser headphone amplifier, electrostatics, and that amplifier was just ruined because the board was totally conductive. I shall clean that flux off in a moment. Right, I've got to tack this monster on. What's that capacitor there? 16 volt 1000 mic. I bet the other one was the same and he's tacked these cobblers in. Filtered AC DC power supply. Yeah, it's even more filtered now by rubbish. Yeah, it's a negative supply rail and he's just decoupled it with some nonsense. Let's just get rid of it. No wonder that poor regulator's sweating. What's the betting? It's seeing a load of ripple. Bunkum. I reckon that's probably 1000 mic. He must have pulled that capacitor out because there's a bit of lead left stuck in the hole. Just terrible. That's got it. Fell out on its own. Right, I'm just going to take an educated guess. What's that capacitor doing there? Comes off there, so that is the negative rail there. This is the positive rail. Is that positive? It is. It's probably why that regulator's breaking out into a sweat, is it's not adequately decoupled and it's having to get rid of all the ripple as well. Where were we? We were 1000 mic, weren't we, probably? Now this is a 25 volt part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fit it and I'm just going to measure the voltage across it just in case we're in a spot of trouble. I mean, why would you do that? Just take the positive rail bulk smoother off and put that in. We'll measure that in a minute and see what it's like. Can you tell I'm mildly annoyed? People that don't know what they're doing. Oh, but mate, it sounds better. No, it doesn't. Beg to differ. Right. I'm just going to power it up briefly and just measure across those leads before I cut them off, just in case that part's no good. Then I don't have to have one with short leads that I've ruined. Right, where's the power supply plug? Is here. We're going to be going across like that. You need to zoom out so you can see what's going on. So, yeah, there we go. I'm measuring across this capacitor, checking we haven't exceeded 25 volts. I think that's our thing. $8 volts. No, we haven't exceeded 25 volts. So that's good news. That capacitor will do a lot better than the one it replaced. Right, where are we? Right, we want left and that output. Analog output, that's it. Digital coaxial in, which is digital input 1. Righty-ho. Power back on and see what we get. Let's just give the amplifier some beans. Still got no... Oh, switch over. We have still got nothing. We just check the WIM is still playing. Ah! We've put it right. Digital signal status indicator is a good one. So that switches to input 2, which is the optical, which we haven't got. Brilliant. Let's try a bit of music, shall we?
Echoes lost in the amplifier's hum. Voices tangle in electric dreams. Wires twist and curves.
There you go. Perfect. I'm going to leave this auxiliary snake coil in there. I would rather not fiddle with it, to be honest. Let's switch that off. Yeah, I'd rather not alter this stuff. It's in there. It's working. Let's just put it back together and forget we'd ever seen it. But that, in place of a power supply decoupling cap, is a disgrace. Let's just disconnect it for a second, because I just want to measure this and see what they thought was a substitute for a bulk smoothing capacitor. Let's have a laugh. 4 microfarads. As opposed to 1,000. 4.541 microfarads. What utter rubbish. Utter rubbish. Right. Anyway, there we go. Let's box it back up. And give Justin the good news that this has been saved as well. One thing I didn't check was how warm that regulator's getting. Now we've got that capacitor in there. I think what I will just do, I've measured the ESR of that one. It was fine. Do you know what? It is what it is. I suspect it'll run loads cooler now. No, let's test it. Let's test it. Let's do this job properly. So let's just pop things back in there. That's our amplifier output. What was that? That was our power supply. That's our coax inputs. That's barely breaking a sweat now. So, what was causing it to overheat was, if you can imagine, that poor regulator is trying to keep its output at 5 volts, whilst its input, 4 microfarads, it's going to have a little bit of smoothing, but it's going to have an awful big ripple on it. And, yeah, it should have, you know, some bulk smoothing before it. And that is now just perceivably warm, whereas before it was getting to the limit of not wanting to hold my finger on it. Snake oil. Right, now we can put it back together. Oh, bonus! Got the LEDs to light up on the front panel first hit. That never happens. There you go. Audio Alchemy Digital Decoding Engine version 1.0 fixed. No longer rattles, runs cooler, and more importantly actually works. So there you go. Anyway, that's been it for this edition of Dozzy's Television Workshop. Click like, subscribe, do all that rubbish, and I'll see you really soon here on Dozzy's Television Workshop. Cheers now. Bye.
Echoes lost in the amplifier's hum. Voices tangle in electric dreams. Wires twist and currents run as broken notes begin to stream so loud, so loud. Silent cry for sound, unreleased. Take it to. Does this make it new? Where the circuits breathe in the heart of tunes. They'll revamp the beat. Broken chords, a fractured song, waiting on the counter there. Dozzy's hands will make it strong, revive the rhythms lost in air. So clear, so clear, his touch will bring the music back.